A very good evening to our esteemed guest, our faculty, administration, and students. On behalf of the placement cell, I, Kshitij Agarwal, would like to extend a hearty welcome to one and all present here for the e-guest lecture being conducted by Mr. G. Srinivasan at SCMS Pune. Our esteemed speaker today, Mr. Srinivasan, is the CEO of Sporzo, a startup that focuses on guiding individuals aspiring to work in the sports industry. Before starting at Sporjo, Mr. Srinivasan worked with the Reliance Group for over 6 years. He led marketing and strategy for the Reliance Sports Group, working across global properties in football and cricket. He was a key person in the team that set up and launched the Indian Super League. Before his role with the Reliance Group, Mr. Srinivasan was heading marketing and sponsorship sales for the BCCI, where he worked on the Indian Premier League or the IPL. Mr. Srinivasan has also worked at global sporting giants like Nike and ESPN. Sir, we are honored to have you here with us today. Before we commence the session, we would like to call upon our pillar of support, Dr. Ashutosh Mathur, sir, the Head of Placement and Corporate Relations, to address the gathering.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Srinivvasan. I hope, how are you? In fact, we were waiting for you, since last so many days. In fact, we wanted to you be in the, we wanted some sort of, sports, some personality from the sport industry should be here in our campus. So now anyway, everything is online. So, Mr. Srinivasan, we are really honored to have you here with us today. And I think this is a very interesting topic, that is called career in sport industry, especially because the sport industry is booming and many students would want to work in this industry. However, I still feel that the student needs to be given a right direction for getting into this industry. How, in what way? I'm sure that by your session, they will definitely learn and they'll get some valuable insights. May I request you to kindly take over the floor, Mr. Srinivasan. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. And yes, it's great to sort of always meet people who aspire to work in sports. Nothing would make us happier than more and more passionate people coming to the industry. That's the reason for existence of Sportjo. I could have just continued with Reliance, right? Yes. And the reason why we sort of started this was only to ensure that there is a meritocratic, scientific, and objective pathway into the sports industry.
Okay. So I am really thankful on behalf of our director, Dr. Adya Sharma, and the whole of the CMS team, the faculty, the staff, the placement cell, the student body. We are really honored that you are here. And yes, many students used to come to my office. They say, sir, do you have any sort of, direction or contacts or something with respect to the sport industry? So I think we have got you right here. The floor is yours. Please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible.
Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to this presentation by Sportjo. Sportjo, as the name suggests, is a short form for sports.
I'm sorry, sir, there's some disturbance from your end. I think, Milind, sir, will you be able to mute your microphone? I'm not able to hear the speaker clearly. Thank you, sir.
So a little bit about the company. It's the only one of its kind in the whole world which assesses, guides, and gets people jobs in the sports industry. We are currently talking about the off-pitch side, but we're getting into the on-pitch, which is coaching and technical, very, very soon. We believe it's going to transform the sports industry both in India and as well as globally, and helps both candidates and employers reach where they belong. For candidates, helps them get dream jobs, and for employers, it definitely helps them reach where they belong in terms of their growth, with Sportjo giving them quality employees. You've already gone through my details. Just wanted to add one point that, I wanted to work in sports ever since I was, as far back as I can remember. I was crazy about sports since I was 5 years old. Now, it's just that there was no way to get into sports. If you ask now also there is no way to get into sports. If you say, I'll go through a particular process, etc. And that's precisely the reason of existence of a company like Sportjo. So we get hundreds and hundreds of requests every day saying, I'm passionate about sports, I want to work in it, and I will do absolutely anything. Now, I will do anything is not an answer, right? You can't walk into a bank and say, I will do anything, right? You're there, you're expected to do something against which you are measured in terms of success. Such answers are definitely there in sports, because sports has an element of emotion added to it, right? And it's a little more emotional than other industries. So emotional responses trigger things like this, especially also when there is no clarity on what the industry is all about. So a little bit about the industry. It's a $1 billion industry, over 5.7 million students, 500,000 interested in sports, 100 plus companies, 30,000 jobs. Candidates still can't get a job and employers can't hire the right people, right? It's really strange, isn't it? So looking at the sports ecosystem, looking at the broad buckets, you have broadcasters like Star, Sony, Fancode, clubs across cricket, football, kabaddi, badminton, table tennis, fantasy and gaming, which is pretty big now, MPL, Dream 11 leading the way, federations across cricket, football, BCCI, the AIFF, who work for the development of sport in the country, data and analytics, which is proving to be a big part in decisions that are taken, brands such as Hero and Apollo, which invest a lot in sports, corporates such as Reliance, JSW, Tata's, which invest in terms of development of the sport, in terms of building the sport from the grassroots level, agencies across digital operations, sales, which support the entire ecosystem on their shoulders, content and media. We've seen the importance of that, especially during the lockdown. And of course, rights holders who buy rights and sell it to different people within this ecosystem. Over the last 2 years, there have been 100,000 Google searches with combinations like jobs in sports in India, sports jobs in India, sports careers in India, careers in sports in India. And the result has been one big zero, because there's not even one website, which is why the contribution of sports to employment in India is way below global average. So there are 20 plus verticals of working in sports. If you slice and dice these further, this number goes up to 40 as well. You have the standard ones like operations, sales, digital, marketing, and you have the new age ones such as esports, sports tech, and gaming. Over 50 plus roles, again, slicing and dicing these further, can go up to 80 or 90, even 100. Take, for example, operations. Operations itself has so many verticals and so many roles. And that too, there are specialists for each of those roles. Ticketing is pretty big in terms of cricket, when it comes to cricket or football, not as much as in other sports, but there is a science behind it as to how much should the ticket be priced at, which ticket should be priced at how much, is it affordable to that people, where will we sell the ticket, how will the ground be full, etc., etc. Venue management is managing the venue where the match happens, where the event happens. Match operations is managing just the match on the field of play, liaising with match commissioners, officials, both teams, etc. You've seen people running around with big badges around their necks when match is going on. When a match is going on, that's called accreditations. Accreditation is the badge that you wear on your neck. Now, accreditation, because each venue is divided into zones, and so that people don't hop over from one zone to the other, thereby making it chaos-free. Entertainment, which is a big part of live sport these days, unfortunately not as much this year, but I'm sure it will come back soon. Hospitality, where you pay a lot more for premium seats with F&B, etc. So all this comes under operations only. If you see, there are lots and lots and lots of these roles, like sports goods and apparel. I've just mentioned 3, but you look at Nike, Adidas, Puma, Reebok, there are hundreds and hundreds of people there, right? So all these added together add up to the 30,000 number, which Sportjo has done along with KPMG, and we're going to be releasing that report very, very soon. So what are the critical skills required for working in sports? We believe that passion for sports is a given. Passion is definitely a must. For example, if you have to join finance, you should be passionate about numbers. Understanding the sport is very, very crucial, which means watching it a little more than as a viewer. Understanding the business of sport is very important as to why brands pay a lot more for cricket, lesser for football, lesser for kabaddi, and pretty much negligible for badminton, considering we have the best players in the world. Being a team player is crucial. Networking skills is very important. That does not mean sending LinkedIn requests, but showcasing what you've done and what you intend to do. Communication and hard work are a given. Having a solution-oriented mindset is very, very crucial, which means at most of the time sports is live and you cannot stop a match if there's something which sort of goes wrong. You need to solve it and to ensure that the match goes on, but everything around it also carries on. So having a solution-oriented mindset, thinking on your feet, is very, very important as far as sports is concerned. Favorite question: will I get paid at all, or will I, or do I have to pay to work in sports? I'm sitting with you. I have a family to feed, 2 kids and a wife. It's not been that bad. I've spent 20 years here. If you do well, if you meet all the objectives that sort of assigned to you, it's not very different from other industries. So if there are outliers like banking and finance, of course, which pay a lot more. But if you compare it to most industries, there's not much difference. So with that background, we decided to start Sportjob, a company which assesses, consults, trains, and places people through a process which is meritocratic, objective, and scientific. Our mission is to transform passion to become a profession in sports and create an ecosystem of at least 500,000 people to support the Indian sports industry over the next 10 years. We want to be the change that we want to see in this world, rather than sit on the sidelines and watch. Why Sportjob? Why did we decide to start Sportjob? What is the problem? Right now, a lot of candidates feel like if I watch a Champions League game at 1:15, I know all stats of Messi and Ronaldo, Virat Kohli. I've done sports management from outside India, or I've played for my state. I should walk into any company, or companies will call me. It doesn't work like that, right? Passion, like I said, is a given, right? It's passion plus personality plus proficiency, which is equal to a career in sports. As I mentioned, there's not even one website, and no clarity and expectation from roles, and even lesser understanding of what the industry's challenges are. From an employer perspective, they put an ad out and 1,000 people apply. That's not the way to hire people, right? I mean, you need to right people for the right jobs, not the entire city applying. Long lead times, which takes months, we can do it in days. And of course, reaching the right candidates and training is possible through the Sportjob process. So Sportjob acts as a bridge between the employers and the candidates, ensuring that there is meaningful exchange between them. Sportjob process is fairly simple. Step 0, as we call it, is registration. We take CVs, we take the CV and a couple of rounds of interviews out of the equation. We ask people to fill up a lot of data about themselves, which makes it easier for the employer. It gives a lot of rich and meaningful data to the employer. What we also sort of do here is take the regular information, but we also ask questions like favorite sporting moment and why, favorite sports person and why, favorite team and why, sports that you play, sports that you watch, how much do you watch, where do you watch, etc. Changes that you want to bring about in sports. All this will save 2 rounds of interviews and save everybody a lot of time. Our assessment gives candidates self-awareness, consulting gives them guidance, and training modules gives them a lot of learning. This entire thing is stored in our database, and the right people are mapped to the right jobs. The whole thing was designed to be completely online way before the pandemic hit. As I mentioned, passion is a given. Proficiency is what the employers hire you for, that they see what you bring to the table. Yeah. And personality is not being cool. Personality is my personality right for this job? Now, tomorrow, while you might be a very good ops guy, if someone puts you in data analytics and you apply for it and get the job only because of its sport, you might not be able to function because that is not your type, right? So what we do is we look to map the right people to the right job, and passion plus personality plus proficiency is not just one job. It's an entire career in sports. So I just wanted you guys to watch a short video on what the Sportjob process looks like.
Dreamt of working in sports? Get the Sportjob advantage and race ahead of the pack. To start off, make your way to sportjob.com and take a unique test. This test takes into account your passion, proficiency, and personality to calculate a unique score that will help you determine possible roles you are best suited for. After the test comes your opportunity to consult with some of the leading personalities in the field. These one-on-one sessions with industry experts will help you understand your strengths and areas to improve. Training time. Based on your unique test score and expert advice, you are matched to highly practical Sportjob training modules that cover all the skills you need in your chosen track. What's more, you'll get a chance to work on real-life projects and understand the practical applications of the skills you've picked up and honed. Armed with your unique test score, expert consultation, and practical training, you are now better equipped to apply for a job of your liking and the one that's most suited to your abilities. That's it. You're now prepared to kick off your sports journey with your renewed Sportjob Mojo.
After you filled in your data, the first step is called Sports Score, which is a test divided into 3 parts: passion, personality, and proficiency. Passion, fairly straightforward, questions on sports. Proficiency, questions on sports with a lens of that vertical. For example, if you're interested in sales, you should know which brand is there on the back of Rajasthan Royals. which brand is there on the sleeve of Man City. And I said personality will map you to the role that you are likely to succeed in. Difference between I think I'm very good at this, or my parents think I'm very good at this, vis-a-vis a third party evaluation saying as per your personality, this is the role which is most suitable for you. Degree of difficulty is basis work experience, and you as soon as you take the test, you get a report immediately after. Avinash was one of the first candidates we placed in the Tata Academy in Odisha. Very high passion score. And as per his personality, he would have been suited for a role in operations in academies. That's exactly where he joined. He's also interested in grassroots, which is great. What he also likes to do is play chess. Now, even he wouldn't be aware that there would be so many things, so many openings in online gaming. It wouldn't have even struck him, and this would have got lost in the CV. But it won't get lost as far as the Sporjo algorithm is concerned. It'll map, and if there is a vacancy like that, it'll map us straight to him. What this does is it gives people access to jobs and a lot of self-awareness. From an employer perspective, a lot of job mapping and job mapping the right people to the right the right candidates to the right jobs, and of course reduce a lot of lead time. Since we've started, over hundreds and hundreds of people have taken this test. Why don't you hear from one of them?
So the Sporjo test measures three things: passion, proficiency, and personality. And I think personally, I think that passion and proficiency are things that are subjective and relative. You can't know for sure that, hey, I'm really good at this, I'm really good at that. You can believe so, you may be good where you are, but there may be somebody much better, or maybe you're actually much ahead of what you think you are. Personality is the only thing that you can actually accurately measure because you know yourself better than anyone. And from what I saw from my test results, the personality depiction of my personality was pretty much spot on. That's why I think that this test can be given a lot of credibility, because I have given personality tests before for fun and for other reasons as well. And it's not always been the most accurate depiction. So I was happy with that. And therefore, I think that one could give this test a lot of credibility. I did get two options for which verticals I'd be suited for. One which I thought I was, and one which was quite a surprise to me, which was a commentator in sports broadcast. But come back to the point of personality. Since it was able to aptly describe my personality, I do give this test a lot of credit. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else Sporjo will have to offer. So yeah, I would definitely recommend giving the test. It's a great eye opener, and sometimes it's just bringing you back to reality, because they're things but sometimes when you read them, hear them out loud, as people say, it sort of makes you realize them a bit more, and then you can work towards improving them, or further strengthening your strengths.
So you've filled in the data, taken the test. The next step is Sport Consult, where you do a one-on-one with an industry expert. You can see the creds here: IPL, ISL, ICC World Cups, Oakley, 37 years of experience in content. What they do is they go through your report, give you guidance and a clear action plan on what you need to do personally as well as professionally. The next part is divided into two parts: online modules and a real-life business project. Now, these online modules are not certified courses, but they have been curated with the help of industry experts. We've started with 4 of these: operations, digital, sales, and athlete management. And we're launching 5 more in February and March, which is broadcast, marketing, academies across cricket, football, and multi-sport, sports for social impact, and data and analytics. Now, we'll go through it vertical by vertical till such time that we finish all the verticals here, and they'll continue to get updated. The idea is to ensure that, and this is exactly what happens in office every day. Here again, you don't have to compete with anybody, because you can do it at your own pace. You want to do it in 1 month, you can do it in 1 month. You want to do it in 4 days, you can do it in 4 days. So it's completely up to you. This part would probably be the most sought after, which is a real life project with a real life company. For example, increasing the fan base of Chennai FC. 2 people are doing this project right now. What this does is it gives hands-on experience to a candidate and helps them understand what the challenges in the industry. Because when you join a company, this is exactly what you'll be doing. And even if 1 in 25, give a good solution, they might actually be hired by the company, right? Chennai is a cricket and a tennis city. Chennai FC is a team in the ISL, which has, in 6 years of ISL, it's won twice and finished runner-up once. In spite of that, they've not built such a big fan base. So if anyone wants to crack it and take a shot at it, and at least if the approach and the thinking behind that is good, the company might actually hire you. So step 1, you're evaluated by Sporjo. Step 2, you're evaluated by the industry expert. And step 3, you're evaluated by the industry itself. making the whole process very, very objective. Till now, we placed 28 people. And you can see the companies: Tata's, ISL, Abhinav Bindra's Academy, Sports for All, RFYS. We've just placed somebody in W Key, good game, about to place 2 more people. With Nivea and 656, we are about to sort of place people, mandates going on for iOS. And as the market opens up slightly, there'll be a lot more people that we will place in going forward. So what next from us? Right now, we're driving awareness, similar to the way that I'm doing with you guys. Sports is a career. It is not just a hobby or an interest. It took me all my childhood to explain that to my parents as well. So the idea is to spread the message far and wide. We'll be getting into schools so that kids at a very early age know that sports can be a viable career, not just by playing in it. We want to take our content in languages. Sportjo Plus and Sportjo Mentor is a program that we're going to be launching in Feb and March. These are jobs for senior execs and sports professionals. And Sportjo Mentor is where we will take one through all our products, which I just showed you, and soft skills. For example, how do you negotiate a sponsorship deal? How will you make a deck for sponsorship? Right? Things like these, which are added on to the products that we already have. Jobs in coaching and gaming, the model and product is under development right now, and we'll be launching it later this year. And of course, jobs outside India, probably towards the end of this year, especially Middle East and Southeast Asia. Just a quick couple of questions which I will answer before I open it up to all of you. Is Sportjo a paid service? Yes, it is. Are all steps mandatory? No, they are not. The test is mandatory, because without that, there is no way to assess someone. Is a job guaranteed at the end of the Sportjo journey? A job is not guaranteed at the end of the Sportjo journey, because it takes a lot more things into account. What is guaranteed is that on a scale of 0 to 100 right now, the awareness level about sports and sports jobs would be between 0 and 10. At the end of the Sportjo journey, it will be definitely more than 60. Do you need to be from a sports background? Not necessary. I'm not from a sports background. I've still spent 20 years here. You need to have relevant experience in sports. Now, I believe that people coming from outside do a much better job because they don't come with any baggage. Sports job market in COVID, it's not hidden from anyone that the big ones have frozen hiring. But the small ones who sort of have had their business really hit because of COVID have started off again. And as you can see, events starting, ISL, I-League, India versus England, and IPL right now. Once they sort of start, the market is going to explode, in my opinion. Thank you. Questions, please.
Thank you so much, sir. That was truly insightful. It was good to know the entire process. This is a very streamlined process, in my opinion. I'm sure students will have a lot to take from this session. Everyone, you can type in your questions in the chat box, and sir will be happy to answer them.
Sandhya Ramachandran, is there any scope for sports management and player representation in India? Of course, Sandhya. I mean, there are so many companies which do that. Baseline manages close to about 17, 18 athletes, in my opinion. Prithvi Shaw, Sindhu, and I mean, they are the big ones, and a lot more. They manage a lot of, they manage swimmers, gymnasts, they manage Smriti Mandhana. IMG Reliance, which I was a part of, manage 6 cricketers. There are lots and lots of companies which manage footballers as well. So yes, there's a lot of scope in this. Yeah, lots and lots of scope. It's just that industry also needs to become a little better. Trust me, it's not at all like Jerry Maguire. If you've seen the movie, Jerry Maguire is only a movie. This is real life, and yes, there is immense scope, especially when you with the explosion of the sector like gaming. I mean, you'll be representing 17-year-olds, very, very soon. I hope I've answered your question. Uddhav Gupta, is MBA sports management really important to get in this field? Uddhav, I don't have an MBA in sports management. I'm a graduate in chemistry and an MBA in marketing. So it's really not. It's definitely not important. You only have to remember 3 things: passion, personality, and proficiency. If you have that, irrespective of the vertical that you've done, you will get a job in sports. These 3 have to be really, 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 really high. And this is 20 years of experience talking. Vanshika Agarwal, are there any professional courses that we can pursue for to entering into the sports industry as a BBA student? You don't need a professional course, Vanshika, which is the reason why Sportjo exists. You can come to us, more than happy to sort of help you and help you enter the sports industry. You don't need to do if you want to do a professional course, you should absolutely. But if in case you don't, the option of Sportjo is always there. Shaunak, what would it take if we were to the social media of any sports team? I think most importantly, you need to understand what that team does. For example, the knowledge of social media has to be very, very good for that. First of all, is your personality suited towards being a social media person of that team, right? And you can find that out through a test. But if you want to sort of work in their team, you need to you need to be knowledgeable about the sport, B, the team, and a little bit on digital marketing, because they would want you to hit the ground running. What the strategy is, what do other teams do, what is this team doing, how can they do things differently, how can they reach a wider base, what is their objective? Objective is not to get more and more fans. How do they reach out to avid fans? How do they reach out to followers? How do they reach out to fans? What will it take to convert followers to fans to avids, and and get more followers in? So you need to learn and do a lot more of this before you approach the social media team of any club. I hope I've answered your question. Akshita, how can we get roles in international sports organizations and teams? See, if you want to work for Liverpool or Man United, you need not go to London or Manchester and work there, right? Or to Liverpool and Manchester and work there. I'm 100% sure that they will set up an office here, considering the size of the population or the size of the market we have. So you can definitely get roles in international sports organizations and teams here itself. Mumbai City FC has been bought over by Man City, by the City Football Group. So working in that is like pretty much working for Man City. So you don't have to go outside India to work in an international organization. I'm so sure that they'll come here in the next few years. Neeraj Kabra, is this jobs in the sporting industry stable? Neeraj, I've been asked a question like this a lot of times, and over the last 20 years that I've been going to office, my desk is still there, and there's no notice on the desk that you are laid off. The sporting industry is like any other industry. Now, can you say a banking is working in the stock market, working with the stock market, a stable job? Yeah, may not be, right? And there are risks and rewards in every industry. But sports was the first industry to bounce back from COVID when Bundesliga started, right? They were the absolute first to take off the blocks. And see, because without sport, only when there was no live sport did you realize what you're missing, right? And as far as stability is concerned, it is the same as any other industry, whether it is stocks, whether it is finance, whether it's absolutely anything. So yes, it is stable. Chitaj Khanna, is it recommended doing an MBA, not necessarily sports management, for career progression in the sports industry? Look, education in any form is great, right? So you need to have a firm foundation, whether it is an MBA or whether it is anything else. It really doesn't matter. Education in any form is really, really good. So the more you do it, the more you learn. It's not just what's written in books, but education sort of helps build character as well. Education helps you build personality as well. So again, like I said, it's completely up to you on what you want to do it. But in my opinion, education is always helpful. Kshitij, what are the entry-level roles in the of finance? Finance, Kshitij, is the lowest among sports roles. But yeah, there would be jobs, but right now there are very, very few. But going forward, there would be not just regular corporate finance and accounts, but there could be jobs in private equity as well for sports. I know of a few companies which do only that. So going forward, that could be a possibility as well in the sports industry. Suchismita, would you have an estimate of sports companies which are planning to enter India in the next 4 or 5 years? I would say right now we have 100 plus companies, about 150 odd. If you look at chota ones also, in over the next 5 years, this number will be anywhere upwards of 500. Yeah? Because there are lots of startups mostly in sports tech. So if you add all that, in my opinion, over the next 5 years, in the next 3 years, there'll be more than 500 companies. Classic case in point, Dream 11 started, and once Dream 11 became big, there are 150 companies in India which offer fantasy gaming. 150. A category was created overnight. So 4 to 5 years, you're saying, is a very, 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 very long time. In my opinion, in the next 3 years itself, it's going to double or triple. Sandhya, one more question from you. What are the future trends in the sports? Trends in which sense, Sandhya? So trends could be anything: players, teams, tech.
So I mean, future trends of jobs in the sports industry.
Jobs. Okay, cool. So the Indian sports industry, as per a report that we've done with KPMG, has 30,000 jobs. As per a report by Economic Times in October, the gaming industry will have 40,000 jobs by 2022. So, like I said, Dream 11 started a category which account for 2,500 of these 30,000 jobs, and gaming is going to overtake the entire sports industry itself. So, growth will not come from, while these will continue to grow at between 6 and 12%, but the exponential growth will come from emergence of new industries, of new verticals. Now, it could be anything. Sports tech, within sports tech, there could be a new thing that's formed right now, and the world will go gaga over it. I hope I've answered your question. Kumar, Rohan, if you want to work at ground level with those international club teams, direct being in contact with the top hierarchy. Oh, you want to hang out with Ed Woodward? No, I'm kidding. But if working for an international club will be pretty great. But what's wrong with an Indian club? So before joining ISL, I had an option to join FC Barcelona and to work in Hong Kong to run the India part from there. I chose ISL. As much as I love Barcelona, it would have been really cool on my CV. I work for FC Barcelona. But when you work on something which is Indian and you set up and you see it become so big nowadays, it feels really good. It's great to work for Liverpool or Man United, but for them, it's a transaction. When you're doing and working and building Indian sport, it's emotional as well, right? So it's great to work for an international club. I'm not saying by no means don't work, but India itself has so much potential that if people like you guys put your might to it, we'll see a completely different sporting India. Shahir Ayaz, what do you think of finance roles sports? Club like UVA have been issuing cryptocurrencies, and there have been quite a few fin sports companies like Football Index. So companies like Socios, SOCIOS, they are doing a lot of social currency in sport. Yes, there'll be a lot of companies like this which will do that. And Socios has come to India also. They reached out to us as well when I was in ISL, but we did not sort of think that it was appropriate for that point at that point in time. So yes, like I said, no. If I answered the earlier question that someone had asked, what are the trends that you see or how many companies that there'll be? It's things like these which will just sort of come and just take off in India. Kshitij, finance, football clubs need manage their funds for various, yeah. So those are the kind of roles that exist right now, Kshitij, and that's exactly what I also meant. So right now, you can work with football agents also, but again, that industry is not fully structured and developed. But yes, the finance roles will increase in time to come. Right now, they're not many. Yes, Kumar, Woodward does need our help. Any other questions?
Guys, just an announcement. Spojo is offering a 10% discount on all our products for all the people who joined today's webinar. This is valid only for 48 hours. So if you guys are interested in going through the process and get a discount, I am sharing a Google form on the chat box. Just kindly fill that out. Hey guys, just an announcement before any of the other questions come in. Sporjo is offering a 10% discount on all our products for all the people who joined in today's webinar. This is valid only for 48 hours. So if you guys are interested in going through the process, in taking the test or any of our other services, then just fill out the form that I've put in the chat box. Thank you.
Kshitij, a little more about our recruitment partners. I mean, in the next 6 months, we should have every company in India on our platform, yeah? And they will hire through us. So you name a company and they'll be there on our platform. Right now, they're not hiring. Sports Interactive is not hiring. India on Track is not hiring. Star is not hiring. So as they open up hiring, jobs will definitely be on our platform. So you can take our recruitment partners as pretty much everybody in the sports industry, or at least 90% of those. What companies, so what we are sort of the group that we are catering to is graduates plus at the moment. Graduates plus. Companies will look for anyone, yeah? I mean, who can do internships as long as they're not studying and it doesn't come in the way of education. I just did, Kshitij. I mean, I don't know if you saw the presentation. I did show I did show a slide which had salaries as well, and I did have a slide about our recruitment partners as well. The pay is pretty much the same as most industries, barring finance and banking, which do pay a lot more. So if you do well, you meet all objectives, it's pretty much the same as most industries, the pay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering all of my questions. I think we don't have any more questions. Oh, we have one more question.
Even for Indian clubs, what is the process getting to that level? We can work with top hierarchy. Kumar, why do you want to work with the top hierarchy? Because when you start working, you can't just sort of go to the top hierarchy straight away. You'll have to work your way through the hierarchy, right? So, am I understanding the question correctly? If you could unmute and ask.
Yes, so that's why I'm asking about the process. Like, what's the process? Like, what I have to do, how many years it will take if I'm to help the club with the, process of recruiting players and everything, of
You
building
don't
up
just
the team, like in IPL team or ISL, anything.
So you don't need to sort of work with the top hierarchy, Even if you've joined as an intern or a trainee, you can still make a difference and show what you are capable of. So if the ideas are good and it'll definitely be taken to the top. So you don't have to wait for 5 years or 7 years to be in touch with the top hierarchy and then show your ideas.
Okay, so okay.
How do you get internships for sports companies? Like I mentioned, there are lots of internship opportunities which come out on our page. Just follow our LinkedIn handles, and a lot of opportunities come out there. So you can definitely apply for those.
Sir, I think we don't have any more questions. So we can proceed with concluding the session.
If there are any more questions that anyone has, you could write to us at admin@sportjo.com and we'll reply to your questions. Sandhya, are there any expectations that you had about this career path that you found to be different from reality? Very good question, Sandhya. My expectation was always to work with sports. And at every job, I continued to build my proficiency. I did not stay in the same role. I worked for 4 years in advertising, then I joined sports. So I could have just stayed with marketing, CMO, this, that. But I sort of spread my wings a little. When I joined So ESPN, after 2.5 years, I said, give me something else. Give me something else. So I worked in business development. I worked in innovations, in setting up new verticals. Then I joined Nike. Of course, marketing was my skill. That's what they hired me for. I also took upon the responsibility of the football business head, so that you understand about football. And that helped me in ISL much later. When I joined BCCI, I was head of marketing and sponsorship, which is sales, selling sponsorships for 25 crores a year. So that helped me quite a lot. And when I joined ISL, you had already gone through the entire spectrum. So you applied pretty much everything of it in setting ISL up, whether it's operations, sales, finance, digital, everything. So there's nothing which was very, very different. It's just that things change, and you need to be sort of up to it, because you can't, work with the same principles that were there 7 years back. When I started in 2001, marketing was very different at that point in time, and marketing right now is very, very different. Marketing then was make a TV ad, adapt it to a hoarding, to a radio spot, to a print ad. It doesn't work like that anymore. Now, like I said, if you're working for a football club, okay, what is the profile of my fans, right? How much do they spend? How much do they engage? How do I react to this fan differently, and this set differently? So what's my communication strategy? It can't be one size fits all. So I think it's more than that. It's an evolution, right? From even now, like, sports is heavily reliant on tech. Earlier, the umpire would see the replay 25 times to see whether the batsman has grounded the bat or the foot inside. Now a light blinks, and that's technology. Has the football crossed the line? Right now, the referee gets it on his watch, on a device on his wrist. Was there a foul, or was there a penalty committed? While that method might not be perfect, but still, tech has played such an important role in transforming sports. So it's more of evolution than finding something very different, and you need to be up to it. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. Cool.
Okay, sir, I think that is all. We can conclude. So I would like to give the vote of thanks. On behalf of our director, Dr. Adya Sharma, our beloved faculty, staff, and our dear students, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Srinivasan for his wonderful session. We thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and giving us so many valuable and practical insights. You definitely are a role model to the students present here today, sir. I would like to extend my gratitude to all those who helped facilitate this session, especially Dr. Ashutosh Mathur sir and Deepa ma'am for their constant guidance, and the IT department for providing us with this platform to connect on. I would also like to thank Ms. Nikita for her efforts to make this e-guest lecture happen. Lastly, I would like to thank each and every student for their active participation and cooperation. Thank you, and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. All the best, and stay safe, please.